and welcome to Finextra. I'm Hannah Wallace and we're here today at Money 2020 in Amsterdam. Joining me now is Oliver Hughes, CEO of Tinkoff Bank, and we're discussing the position of challenger banks within the financial service sector. Oliver, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you very much.
Firstly, could you introduce Tinkoff Bank?
So Tinkoff's been around for a while, around 11 years now and counting. And we were basically fintech before the word fintech was invented. So we were established as a completely branchless operation. We work all over Russia with no physical infrastructure. And we started life as a credit card company using data and direct marketing channels. Eventually over time evolved into a full service bank, and not just a bank. So we have a bank, an online insurer, we have a mobile operator now, a virtual mobile operator, and we're going into all sorts of other services.
And now, setting the scene, what does the bank of the future look like, and what sort of threats should banks be looking out for to stay competitive tomorrow?
Sure, so people used to talk about fintech and the fintech revolution, the fintech threat to banks. This has all been rather overblown, as I think people understand now. So there's been some interesting, let's say, technology-driven players coming out of this whole kind of like soup, which is excellent. But it was overstated because they couldn't scale up. They thought about capitalization as opposed to monetization. And so now we're seeing that banks are either responding, traditional banks, and digitizing, coming out with new ways of doing business, or actually buying up the fintechs. So what we're seeing now are basically the existential threat, if you like, coming from big tech. So these are rather obvious players: Google, Facebook, Amazon, etc. The Chinese, Alibaba with Alipay and Ant Finance, and Tencent with WeChat, moving gradually, or actually now quite quickly, onto the turf of the existing banks, mainly the traditional incumbents with branches, who are going to have a bit of a fight for their lives over the coming years. And then in between them, you've got your new banks, neo-banks or challenger organizations as sometimes called, of which we're one. So it's about scale, it's about use of data, it's about interface, knowing the customer, and it's about the user experience, UX, within the financial ecosystem that these new players are creating. So Tinkoff, with its 7 million customers and growing by 500,000 each month, is very well placed to position from that.
Fantastic. And sort of coming back to Tinkoff, what sets you apart from other branchless banks?
So, as I said, we were originally built to be a branchless player. So everything we do is about straight-through processing, about optimizing the customer experience, the customer journey, about interface. So we have the best mobile applications in Russia, the best web interfaces. Now we're very much about chat and voice authentication or face recognition technologies. So everything that increases security, enhances the customer experience, and makes their whole, if you like, life within us, not just financial life within our ecosystem, very seamless and hopefully enjoyable. So we're providing value for them. Just one thing that we're doing, which is really quite innovative, is Tinkoff Stories. So within the mobile app, you see little boxes, Tinkoff storyboards. So we're the first bank to do this in the world. You click on one of these storyboards, and we give you user tips, we give you PFM recommendations, all based on your transactional behavior, your geo data, what we see about you as a customer, your behavioral profile. We do targeted offers from Tinkoff, external targeted offers, card-linked offers, giving you extra value, telling you about events, exhibitions, whatever it might be. You can book a restaurant table, you can buy tickets, you can buy travel, airline tickets and rail tickets on our app. So we're very much moving outside the traditional financial sphere into services. So this requires lots of deployment of new technologies, new approaches, and a very different feel to what you might expect from a traditional financial services provider.
Fantastic. And how are you harnessing the power of highly targeted services by using personal data and artificial intelligence, and also while staying conscious of data protection and privacy issues?
Sure. So Tinkoff Stories is one of the ways in which we do this. So we have all sorts of authentication technologies which enable us to enhance the customer experience when they're logging on, for example, or moving around, switching between services within our ecosystem. Targeted offers, more relevance. All of this is based on data. So from a bank's perspective, it's risk management. From a customer perspective, it's about targeting and relevance. This requires data. Well, because we've got 7 million customers and growing very quickly within our ecosystem, we have tons of data. So we use the customer's data and use that to build up this ever richer profile of the customer, so we can do all the stuff I've just mentioned about on the security side and the relevant side. Just by way of reference, the data protection laws in Russia, this is a little known fact and sometimes surprises people, have been around for a long time. So they've now been around for about 14 years, and they're actually very stringent. So they took the Germanic or Franco-Germanic model, if you like, of continental Europe in terms of data protection, as opposed to the more liberal Anglo-Saxon data protection laws and privacy, and transplanted that to Russia back in 2004, 2005. So it's very toothy, it's very toughly enforced, and we've been living within that prism, if you like, or paradigm in terms of data protection for a long time.
I see. Well, it's very insightful. Thank you very much, Otto. Enjoy the rest of the event.
Thanks a lot.